it going, everybody? My name is Doge, and today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Brian, and he and I are gonna compare these two, what do you call it, sister cars. Now,
yeah, the sister platform cars.
Explain why you chose the Mini Cooper of all cars.
Thing is, they're the same engine, they're on the same platform, and I think they use the same materials. Basically, this is the car, like this is like the flagship type of thing. This is like the main car, this 1 Series. But basically, what we're saying is this Mini is just parts bin of that BMW, because all it is just like remolded lights and stuff. They use the same technology, the same chassis. This uses the same engine, the 2-litre turbo, and this uses the 2-litre turbo. Thing is, because they wanted to cut costs, this one's iDrive, this one's just front wheel drive. Well, X-Drive. This BMW is all-wheel drive. That Mini is front wheel drive.
So yeah, guys, to put it simple, this is basically the more expensive Mini Cooper, but like a lot nicer. And this is basically the reduced, reused, recycled BMW 1 Series. And speaking of that, thank you for the demonstration of the powertrain, because these in fact do have the same exact engine. This is a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, and this is also a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, and this is a BMW M135i. And in my eyes, it's one of the most funnest hatchbacks you could buy in the game, because you know, it's just so quick to shift. It's an automatic as well, so a little less fun, but you could still use semi, right?
I personally, this is my second favorite BMW 1 Series. The previous generation of 2017, basically the F20, I think it is. The 1 Series was a rear-wheel drive hatchback with a B58 in it, which is the new Supra engine. And those things, you can die in those 140i's, honestly. Those are death traps. And no wonder why the insurance is so much over here in the UK. The 140i's rear-wheel drive in it has B58, this, that, the other. You spin out, you're dead. People have died in 135i's. Well, they've died in the 135i's and they've died in the 140i's. The 135i, I think, has the all-wheel drive system on the previous generation. The 140i is just rear-wheel drive, and it has the B58, the 3-litre, same engine, Supra, stuff like that. But you can literally kill yourself in the 140i's. Just the any 1 Series, because majority of them are like rear-wheel drive anyway. I find this the safer, more sensible 1 Series, because it's all-wheel drive and it's got a 2-litre, and it's just basically a BMW. I mean, a Mini.
Thank you, Brian, for that demonstration. Now I'm gonna take a couple more minutes out of your time and tour you around the dealership specs of these cars. Alright, so here we are at the dealership page for the 2020 BMW M135i, or just the 1 Series in general. And as you can see, the fictional name is the 2020 BKM Leipzig. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is an old model, so it only has 2 trims. So first we have the front wheel drive 2.0 turbo sport line, which is basically like the slower version of it per se, with only 150 horsepower, quite light for a hatchback. Then we got the M Performance 2.0 turbo all-wheel drive, which is basically the faster version of it. Not very accurate horsepower, but I can honestly care less, because I like this car in every possible way. I love the color choice too. Like, I think these are actually like okay, it's pretty obvious that these are factory colors, and I really like it, because every single one of it is fitting. Well, not necessarily for like the Seaside Blue Metallic. Alright, now anyway, onto the Mini Coopers. Alright, so here's the 2022 Mini Cooper's dealership specs. So it has a pretty good amount of trims. So starting with the base model, it's a little heavier than the BMW 1 Series. So then we got the Hunty Classic Works, which is, as you would assume, well, the performance version actually, because this has like a surprising amount of power. And I actually never reviewed this before, but now I'm taking my time to with Brian, because you know I can. Now we got the S trim, which is, you know, the sport trim per se, but it's slower than the Huntys. Then it's back to base with those 3 trims. So yeah. Now I like the color choice, except this zesty. Why is it called zesty yellow? Anyway, that's the main color I have a problem with. But yeah, this is basically like the smaller version of the 1 Series, as Brian explained. And yeah, that's all for the dealership trims. Now I'm going to show you what this thing sounds like. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Brian's Mini Cooper. He has my 1 Series over there. So I'm going to floor it in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, top speed of 153 miles an hour. This is front wheel drive. Let's check the braking. Braking can be a little better, but for a car this size, I say it's pretty good brakes. Alright, now let's go to the 1 Series. Alright, I'm gonna floor this 1 Series in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, top speed of 160, 8-speed automatic. Let's check the braking. This is all-wheel drive. Absolutely impeccable brakes for a car that's this light and that can go out of control easily. Like, I like this car much better than the Mini Cooper just because it feels faster and it has way better brakes, especially from top speed. Alright, now I'm going to show you how these cars drive. Alright, now driving the 1 Series is pretty awesome because, in my opinion, like, when you floor it, you feel like you're going so much faster. I think that's because of the little wind effect that came out in the new spring update. Like, for example, I'm going 126 right now, and it feels like I'm going like 150. And honestly, this car handles very well. As you can see, it's kind of a good lane keeper. Well, except at like high speeds, because you know why. And in my opinion, this car is an absolute blast to drive. Like, this has very good handling for a BMW that doesn't. Well, yeah, it made pretty successful track cars. I almost forgot about the M3 GTR there for a second. All right, now Brian here is gonna overtake me. Then I'm gonna give my thoughts on the Mini. Alright, anyway, as I was saying, Brian here is gonna overtake me in his Mini, and then we're gonna switch cars, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts on the Mini to see if I have anything different to say about it. Alright, so driving the Mini, it feels some sort of like basic feeling because, you know, it's basically a smaller 1 Series with recycled materials. I don't know how to feel about it just yet. Let me just check the handling. As Brian stated earlier, it understeers quite a lot since it's front-wheel drive, and I could clearly see that because I'm on the verge of going off the road because of how good the grip is, and that's the one thing I love about this car is the grip. But then again, front-wheel drive causes a lot of understeer because of the grip, so. I'm not too sure if I like the driving experience as much as the 1 Series, because the 1 Series is much quicker than this, and yeah, that's just my overall thoughts. It's fun to drive, but just not as fun as the 1 Series. Alright, Brian, tell me your thoughts on your Mini. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I like the Mini. It's just a cheaper 1 Series, you're getting more bang for your buck. But the one thing I don't like is that it's front wheel drive. Like, it's got so much body lean to it, you know.
Yeah, I just see your understeering there.
I like the pull it has. It's a light car. It feels light, and it's powerful.
Yeah, but this is actually a lot lighter. In the dealership, I saw it weighed just over a ton. Like, this only weighs 2,200 pounds. And compared to that, that weighs like what, 2,900. But that's still plenty light for a hatchback, in my opinion. All right, Brian, tell me your thoughts on the 1 Series. Do you like it better than the Mini?
To be honest, I do like these. Like I said, it's my second favorite BMW 1 Series generation. My favorite being the 140i, which is the previous generation. But I like this more. I like how it's all-wheel drive. It keeps you safe and stuff. It's all-wheel drive and it keeps you safe. Now, let's take this corner here. Now, I'm coming into this corner at 80, and everything's fine. A bit of understeer, but that's all-wheel drive, and that's the weight. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I just took that same corner, but at a slower speed. I still understeered pretty heavily. I took that corner at like 60, and I think I understeered way more than you did, because, you know, front wheel drive, understeer, and stuff. And but I still think that front wheel drive causes its own understeer.
It's because the wheels drag. Let's take a left there, yeah? I'm perfectly fine. I'm doing 60 through these corners, yeah?
I did 50, and I still understeered pretty badly.
And now, I understeered on a tight corner, but that's what you get, really. Now, these cars, I'm thinking, the way we've been driving these cars and stuff, the fuel has gone down, like, very well. Like, the MPG is, like, really, really good. And now I'm hooked. I'm hugging this, like, roundabout. How are you doing, brother?
Well, I'm just bouncing on the little medians there, the little red things.
You put your foot, you get more understeer at a high speed, but it's not really a thing because I'm all-wheel drive. So you've got that weight distribution and stuff and the power distribution.
Alright guys, in conclusion, I would definitely take the 1 Series more, but just because it's more fun to drive. It handles a lot better and understeers way less than the Mini Cooper. Though the Mini Cooper is fun to drive, I just don't enjoy it as much as the 1 Series, because, you know, it's a little slower than the 1 Series. But otherwise, it's still a ton of fun to drive. But being that the Mini Cooper's front wheel drive, it understeers quite a lot, which is kind of annoying. But at the same time, that's what kind of makes it fun, in my opinion. So altogether, I would definitely take the 1 Series more. So Brian, what would you take and why?
I would take the Mini. I'm not really a fan of the new BMW 1 Series, mainly because it's not rear-wheel drive and it doesn't have B58 like the M140i, the previous generation. I like the Mini because of styling. I like it more because it looks more back to basic than the BMW. The BMW's front grille, I'm not really a fan of its front grille and a hatchback that small. It's like giving a truck balls. You're overcompensating, basically. You've got such a big grilled car and such a small vehicle. You know what I mean? It's like truck balls. You know, you're overcompensating.
I mean, you're kind of right. It is pretty big for only a 2-liter engine.
I like the grill on this because it brings it back to basic Mini stuff. I like it because I like the Mini more because I find understeering challenging, and challenge is the way you should drive. I like challenges when it comes to driving, you know what I mean? I would love to drive a BMW 1 Series again, because I used to daily that thing and it was amazing on fuel, it was amazing and everything. But I find this somewhat better on fuel because it's a bit slower, but also because it's a bit heavier. I like the heavy feeling of a car, and I like the way this goes, and mainly because this is a JCW. It's just the styling and everything, I'd prefer the BMW. I wouldn't prefer the BMW over this. But if you gave me the previous generation 1 Series over this, I would choose the previous generation 1 Series. Because that's, like I said, rear-wheel drive, E58, nicer styling.
Alright guys, well that basically wraps it up for today's review. If you like what you saw, then please hit the subscribe button. And remember to always suggest your cars in the comments below as usual. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and have a great rest of your day.